I really do love my diesel VH4 head that's sitting behind me right now. It's by far my number one amp, and I've used it on every track, every album, every EP that I've been part of since getting it. But it weighs about £50, and realistically, it's overkill for a lot of the gigs that I'm doing at the moment. Even this small 5150 combo, it's a 1x12, and I really do love it. But it still weighs about £65, which is only about £15 short of a Marshall 4x12. This is the GPA-100. It's a 100 watt Class D power amp from Harley Benton, and it weighs less than a kilo, or less than £2. It provides 100 watts of clean power into an 8 ohm speaker, which should be loud enough for nearly any environment. And if you have a 4 ohm speaker cab, you'll actually get 190 watts, which should be enough headroom for anybody. It has a global EQ at the top here. It's got a bass control, a middle control, and a treble control, so you can make quick adjustments according to the room that you're in. And if you leave the controls in the centre position, it's flat and clean, so it doesn't change your sound. It uses a proper kettle lead or IEC plug, so no delicate cables running across the stage. And it's small enough to fit on a pedalboard. Whether or not you've got space for it is another thing. It's currently £66, €79 or $69. For myself, I feel that amp modelling is the way to go in a live situation. I'm able to have all my overdrives, amp models and effects all within the one unit, and at this point I don't really think anybody can argue that they don't sound great. I'm using the Line 6 HX Stomp and I love it. The problem is amplifying at a gig, and I've had so many bad experiences running directs with no backline that I always try to have something behind me, whether that's an FR system or a traditional power amp and guitar cab. This is the perfect little amp to take along when a cab is being provided by a venue, or even if you have to take your own cab, this will definitely make things easier. Oh, and if you are running something like a Helix into this, then remember to turn your cab modelling off, because cab modelling into a real cab never sounds good. And because it's a clean power amp, it shouldn't colour your sound. I like to use the full amp models, not just the preamp versions. I haven't had a chance to try it in a live setting yet, but I can tell from just playing around with it in the studio that it's not going to have any problems being loud enough. So now I'll play a few different patches into it and you can tell me what you think. So the signal chain will be my guitar into my HX Stomp, into this GPA-100, into a vintage 30 loaded 212 mic'd up with an SM57. Alright, let's start off with a clean sound, hopefully without getting any copyright strikes. So now more of a crunchy sound, like an 800 kind of thing, with just some simple chords. And this is the Friedman, it's the placator model, placator model in I don't know if you've ever said it out loud before, the Friedman model in the HX Stomp. And this is my favourite model from the HX Stomp. It's called the Badonk, which is based on the old Big Bottom model. And this last one, just for fun. Another really good way to use this would be to incorporate into a wet dry rig or a stereo rig, combining it with a dry traditional guitar amp and running a line out into your effects into this. Or even get a pair of them and use them for a wet dry wet rig. This would be ideal for this kind of setup and would really keep the weight and price to a minimum. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to mount it to a pedal board or sit it on top of whatever cab is being provided at the venue. But I can say that this will be getting a lot of live use. I've got a small tour coming up shortly, and this will definitely be coming along with me. Alternatively, there are other options available, like the Seymour Duncan Power Stage 170, and that's really good, but it's over 5 times the price. If you want to see a video all about this yellow Fender Strat, click here. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.